City, but what about the area of Northwest and the areas of Pleasant City and Coleman Park? Are there any things that are in the works as far as helping to revitalize those areas?
Well, there's, there are always things that are happening within the city, but I don't think I'm surprised that you say that there is revitalization that's happened along the Broadway corridor and Dixie Highway, because it really starts with the neighborhoods. And I don't see a whole lot happening on Dixie and Broadway, so if that's the case, what has happened in the neighborhoods? And that's got to be, there's a much bigger disparity there. And first, I know that we have promised, the city has promised long before I was there, I've heard it for years and years and years, about doing a disparity program to find out exactly what exactly the numbers are, and it hasn't been done. It needs to get funded. We need to understand how to go into the future, and if we don't have that information, we won't be able to do that. I think the way that we need to think about this is, I know that there was a time when Tamarind was a really vital area where people shopped, and people were able to go and get their shoes cleaned and get their dry cleaning done, and that's all seemed to be really gone away now. We have to start there. I think we need to brand the neighborhoods, we need to brand the areas of the neighborhoods, and start to put that energy back into it a block at a time. And that's what it's going to take. It's going to take a block at a time. We have to hold hands with each other. We have to know exactly what is good for the community. I can't assume that I know what's good for the community. I don't live in this neighborhood, you don't live in my neighborhood, so I'm assuming that you're going to be able to come to the table and say, these are the kinds of things that are really good for us, these are the kinds of things that we think are going to take us further into the future to revitalize the neighborhoods and the economic development of the business community. And as a business person, I understand how important and vital that is to happen first. It'll bring back a tax base, and that's a tax base that could be used to revitalize the community as well. Thank you.
Well, let me follow up on that. What plans do you have? Do you have plans to help increase or decrease, I should say, the local unemployment rates in the areas such as Northwest, Pleasant City, and Coleman Park?
Well, let's talk about the Palm Beach Mall for a second, because it's not just about jobs that are right here at the end of your street. It's also about the fact that we have a mall project that came to us and asked for specific entitlements. And the entitlements were actually inside of the program that was created. They asked for more parking than they should have had. They asked for larger signage, more signage. They asked for a lot of entitlements, and what we asked for is minority jobs, proof of minority jobs. And what we got was them coming to the city commission and asking to be put through and get their zoning changes without showing us how they were going to provide those minority jobs. And we held their feet to the fire, and we would not give them the ability to move forward in that project for 2 weeks. And believe me, they listened to that very loud and clear. And that is over 300 jobs. So I think you start in a lot of different places in the city. I think earlier I heard the gentleman that introduced everybody say, if one part of your body is hurting, it affects your whole body, and that's how we have to look at this. We're a city together. We have to hold hands. I think of it like a necklace, a pearl necklace. We're all connected, and when one of them is broken or damaged, we're not going to be able to go forward into the future very well.
Thank you. Mr. Weiss, same set of questions to you. Again, these questions were submitted by concerned citizens in the community. As far as the Northwest neighborhood, Pleasant City, and Coleman Park, if you're elected to the city commission, what plans will you implement in order to help revitalize those areas?
What I know that we have already done, and that was actually probably about a year ago, that came through the planning board. There was rezoning along Tamarind and up through the Northwest neighborhood. We did some rezoning that was going to allow for mixed-use development, meaning that on the ground floor, you're going to be able to have active uses like retail or professional office space, and then above that, be able to build residential. So it allows for a property or development that's has multiple streams of economics coming into it, both the business side, which is vitally needed in the neighborhoods, and also from providing additional housing stock. I think from a policy perspective, as the city goes, looking to develop programs, and I think one of the things we can invest in, and one of the things that I find is really, that we can do, is of course our after-school programs and job training programs that we can provide educational opportunities for our residents and the people who have businesses here in West Palm Beach, to give an advantage to the people who live here and work here by having a specialized, or not specialized, but higher level in both training programs and educational programs. Because in my mind, education is the key to economic revitalization, and that's how it begins. And as far as actual jobs go, at least on projects that the city is involved in, where our public tax dollars are under the control of the commission, I can tell you this, that I will be certain that I'm going to be that we have both set aside for our local workers that are in those contracts to guarantee that the jobs that are being paid for with our tax dollars here in West Palm Beach includes the fact that we're going to employ people that reside in West Palm Beach or whose businesses are in West Palm Beach.
I thought that I heard you mention that you'd like to see additional training be offered for local residents, I guess to make them more employable. Do you have specific programs that you would champion in order to ensure that they are as employable as possible?
I don't. And, but what I can tell you is I have met with representatives of various unions throughout our community, and they have skilled training programs that they have implemented to teach people skilled trades. Like there's some real new technologies being done in welding that require a tremendous amount of education. I know our iron workers are doing that kind of training right now, and so I would try and engage with them to bring those skills and bring that training to our people.
Okay, very good. Ms. Materio, let's follow up on your comments regarding the employment, local unemployment, if you will. What plans do you presently have, or intend to implement here in the next calendar year to increase the local residents' participation in the procurement process?
Well, I'm really sorry that I'm so nervous tonight. There are a couple of women leaders in this audience that I really look up to, and I don't think I've been this nervous having a conversation in front of a group of people since this campaign has started, so I apologize for my inability to get my words out tonight. First of all, there are a lot of things that are locally happening, and again, I just have to say there's just not enough things. As far as the programs, there are no programs in place. There's nothing that's happening currently within this city. We have made zoning changes, but you don't really see the businesses going there. We have put a lot of houses in, but you see that they're empty. So there are issues that we are not addressing, and I think that we may have missed the mark from both the CRA's efforts and from the administration's efforts. And again, if we don't do a disparity study, if we don't put the $200,000 out there to do the disparity study, a study that has been promised to this community for at least the last 4 years. In fact, I think our mayor said that within the first year of her election, if she got elected, that she would do a disparity study, and that still hasn't been done. That's the #1 key that we need in order to be able to get future jobs and to know what kinds of help we can get from at the state level as well. In addition, we have a trolley that goes everywhere but 2 blocks from Cameron. There is a disconnectiveness to the way things happen. When we connect the rest of the city to the historic Black neighborhoods, then we're actually talking about something positive. It is a shame that we've waited this long, and I can't understand. 2 blocks the trolley goes from here. So as far as future jobs, and if you're asking from the point of view of what's happening currently with the city, there isn't anything happening.
The question was actually pertaining to your specific plans? What plans would you implement? But let's follow up.
Oh,
on
I
that.
would love to answer that question if you would like me to.
Well, let me kind of follow up on something you mentioned about the disparity study. What do you foresee, or would you anticipate a disparity study showing that you don't already know as far as the, I guess, employability of the local populace, whatever? What would you anticipate seeing from a disparity study that you don't already know?
Well, we don't have those numbers. We can't take numbers to Tallahassee because we don't have them. We don't have the sources for additional funding from a disparity study in order for us to be able to get training programs and for us to know and be able to say, okay, everyone that brings a job or every development that comes to the city, because of the disparity study being done, must hire whatever that percentage is. Whatever that number, that missing number that we don't know what it is, that magic number, we need to have that in order to move forward.
Okay. Mr. Weiss, do you believe that a disparity study is necessary prior to trying to create jobs here in the local community?
I don't think it's necessary to create jobs. I would be supportive of funding one. In fact, I'm sort of at a miss as, I thought, as a commissioner, you prioritize in the budget, you come up with the ideas in the budget and of what's important to you, so I certainly would be willing to propose that, but I can tell you, just by my ability to drive through this city, there's a disparity between neighborhoods in this community. I don't need a study to tell me that. I can see it with my own eyes. And I believe that, the tide, as they say, floats all boats. And for one part of the community not to rise up and not to rise to its level increase, the whole community can't rise. And it's incumbent upon us that the programs that we put in place, that the work that we do includes all the residents of this city. And I can tell you, you have my commitment that I will focus not just on my district, not just on the districts to the north, not just as districts to the west, but the entire city, that we do that. But I also believe that you asked about procurement as well on this. And what I can tell you is I think it's incumbent for the city to have, and I believe that we already do have there's in our procurement process, there is, it allows for extra points to be given to our local providers. But we need to make sure that it includes all our local providers of all our various groups within the city. So I don't need a disparity study to tell me that there's a disparity in this community, and we just need to make a commitment, and that's really what it is. Your commission prioritizes where the money goes. That's ultimately what the commission does. They take our tax dollars and they're spending it, or hopefully reinvesting it in our community in a way that's going to get a return. And that's what I can tell you that I'm committed to do for you.
One follow-up question to you, Mr. Weiss. What changes would you make in the city procurement process to provide more opportunities for small businesses and local businesses as well?
I think there's certain contracts and there's certain opportunities where it's clear that we can, our local businesses would be a preference for us. And I think we need to make sure in those opportunities that we identify and are clear to them. Part of it is, I think, possibly also a communications issue, that people know about what these opportunities are. But well, of course, we do have to be fair to everybody because these are tax dollars, and so.
So, but what changes would you make to the current process?
Just that I would do more outreach to our local vendors. I'm not sure legally what you can do in terms of set aside, so I can't commit to something that I don't know if it's legal.
Mr. Terry.
You're an attorney. You can advise.
Mr. Terry.